Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing playing Tiny Bunny. Let's get on with it. Who could be visiting us here in the middle of nowhere? We don't know anyone around here. So persistent. Maybe it's someone from the woods. I felt extremely unsettled just from the silly thought that our morning guest could have come from the woods. Yes, totally. I could barely hear voices coming from the front door. My mind was urging me to hide. In the closet, under the table, behind the curtains, where Ollie always hides. Yeah, boy, hide. Why not? Tasha, come here. I felt like kettlebells were tied to my feet, but still dragged them towards the hallway. Oh, policeman. A couple of policemen towered over me in the doorway. They smelled like frost and worry. My mom always winced and grumbled the moment she saw patrol cars. Worse than bandits. At the moment, thought she looked somewhat confused. Hello? The senior officer, who wore a grim expression, nodded. A boy had gone missing yesterday. His name's Vova. That's a nice name, by the way. Mm. Look at this. Please, have you seen him? The policeman held out a photograph to me. Oh, that's a cute kitty! There was a ginger boy on the age of elementary school, pictured with a wall carpet as the backdrop. He had a striped cat in his hands and wore a wide smile. No, I haven't. Are you sure? Look closely. Where would I see him? I don't know anyone around here. I barely leave the house. Well, maybe you've seen him from the window. That's right. Your windows look straight at the forest, don't they? The window. No, I haven't seen anything. I see. He sounded tired, but his stare, long and heavy, was full of suspicion. Okay. I squirmed unwittingly under the weight of guilt, with his which his giant shadow cast over me. The policeman finally tore his eyes from me and glanced over the hallway, the stairway, and the cracks in the ceiling, which I hadn't noticed before for some reason. How do you like your new place, by the way? Getting used to it? Bit by bit. It's just our little daughter misses the city a lot. Misses the city, huh? Have the locals been treating you well? Yes, everything's all right, thank you. No, nothing's all right. This house, the forest is haunted. Why would this be all right? The policeman pierced through me one more time with his gray eyes. My head started spinning. Can I help you somehow? I asked that in a shirky voice to look like a polite boy and to end these unpleasant conversations sooner. Now that I think about it, you look just like one of my nephews, little fellas. He's a witty boy, around your age, wears the same type of goggles. Always engrossed in reading those mystery novels. Told me he wants to enroll in a police school when his family visited this summer. Wanted to help other people just like me. See? I felt uncomfortable, as if a distant relative and not a policeman stood before me. You know what? Little boys like you should stay at home. Steer away from trouble. The times have changed so much. Mom interjected in a cold voice. Okay. You don't say. Oh, well then. What grade are you in, Anton? Sixth. Have you made any friends here so far? Not yet. I'll be going to school for the first time after the break. Ah, then I'll leave my number just in case. Call me if you have any new info. The police were gone along with their shadows, the smell of cheap cologne, and the photo of a smiling boy. His face still stood before my eyes. I wondered what it was like for him, being all alone there. For some reason, I thought of the forest swaying in the wind. What did his poor parents feel? And what would my parents do if I'd gone missing? Would they cry and trash around hysterically? Or would they accuse each other like they always do and forget about me eventually? Mom, this Vova, did he go missing in our forest? Seems like it. Poor child. I looked out the window at the road. The police was drove off toward the village. Glossary was silent and Russian off-road. Oh yeah, I know what it is. The officer's nephew come to my mind when I was splitting off old paintings from the windowsill. Okay. I remember all the teenage mystery novels from Black Kitty series I've read this summer. Your average boys and girls invested all sorts of mystery there. They looked for clues, spied on suspicious people. After a set of amazing adventures, bam, solved any completed case. They became local celebrities and must have made their parents very proud. I noticed a trail of policemen footprints that led to the forest. And then it clicked in my head. Why don't I start an investigation of my own? Maybe I'll find that lost boy and I'll get a reward. Olya will be so happy. And not only Olya, Mom and Dad too. Maybe they'll even forget about their quarrels for a while. Maybe I'll even save us from the D word. I fantasized about buying Olya a Tamagotchi and getting a cassette player and a bunch of tapes for myself. And a whole box of Kinder Surprise. When was the last time our parents bought us any toys? Last autumn, I think. My dad lost his job at the time. There's that annoying song about it. I had little that I had little to no idea what was an accountant job. Like they count money, I think. Neighbors used to envy us. But nowadays, Mom and Dad barely had money to afford sweets, and Dad would always divide a single chocolate bar between me and Olya. Sometimes I gave her my share too. No matter how much I wanted to eat sweets, she's still just a pipsqueak. I couldn't wait to go out looking for clues. I'm going outside. Yeah, right. You want the police to go around with your photograph next? The forest is so thick. What if the boy got snatched up by wild animals or something even worse? Even worse, echoed through the hallway. I won't go far. I'll stay away from the forest. Did you hear what I said, or should I repeat myself? Better go pack your school bag or play with Olya. A sound of splashing water came from the kitchen. I meant that the argument was over and Mom had the last word. To kitchen. The dark, stuffy closet. Mom says it smells like mice, but how would she know their smell? She hates when I stick my nose in there. She's afraid I'll cut myself on the freshly sharpened axe. And Olya couldn't even be lured close to it. She thinks Baba is living there. I tried to help her fight her fears once. I opened the door and turned on a dim lamp so she would see through was nothing but cobwebs, dead stools and scratched walls. She still didn't believe me, and I liked to hide in the closet and listen to Olia's count outside. 1, 2, 3, better hide from me, and then drag her feet on the crushing floorboards, hoping that she wouldn't need to look for me in the cramped monster den. Okay, where should we go? Let's go to the kitchen. Grandma kept ice cream for me and Olia there, but now I can only see meat bits for soup and clumped together pelmeni. I grew to hate them already. Pelmeni is a nice meal. I love it, really. It's kind of a Russian thing more, but they're really nice. It was difficult to lie to Mom, but there was no other way for me to run away from home. Mom, something's wrong with the TV. The picture is dim and there are stripes all over the screen. Mom's face became visibly distorted. Oh, you're killing me here. So have you had enough of shooting those stupid ducks now? Told you the kingscope will go dim because of your console. Will we Where will we find a TV technician in this hole, huh? Maybe just the Maybe it's just the settings. Please go see for yourself. Strange, it works fine in the morning. Maybe the snowfall caused it. Mom rubbed her hands clean in her apron and went to Olia's room. We're gonna run outside. Yay! I opened the front gate and went into the field. Carefully, so Mom wouldn't see me from the window. When I closed half of the distance towards the forest, the snow piles became as high as my knees. I remembered my nightly fears. I saw those silhouettes around here. They were jumping around, holding hands. They hypnotized. Music started playing in my head, all in all, all on its own. In the light of day, those distant figures felt like a simple dream. The sun turned my nightmares to ash, but the aftertaste was still there, distant, ringing in my ears. Distorted shadows crawling on the snow alongside me, and a barely edible, edible whisper in my head, blurry and almost kind. Everything was silent, so silent I felt like the world was totally empty. No ground, no sky, no parents, no Olia. The time reached its limit, and a one-way trip that ended at the forest. Penny Stoked. Okay, that was hard to read for me. Why though? Sometimes, sometimes silent was much scarier than any scream. Our parents would scream at each other while arguing, and both me and Olia turned to stone, listening to them. But then, always came the ringing silence. Our apartment became numb a couple of days before we departed. It was hard to remember the last time Mom and Dad joked around, laughing, or spent time together, almost like all of it was a previous life. When they kissed with Olia's present, she always frowned and snored in a funny way. But one day it all changed. Something important had left our home, and something scary filled the remaining void. It was as it was as if a fire broke out and our parents were hurriedly packing our belongings, trying to save themselves and us. From who, though? From the people with dead, cold eyes who sometimes visited us in our previous home. The eyes that only saw balls of worms on the black ground and everything. Okay, who those people though? Like, and somewhere far away, a siren was going off, trying to warn us of the coming menace. Three dots. I shrugged, chasing away my delusions, and looked around. There was only me, this wide field, and the wind that was whipping up icy dust and belts of powder snow. I squeaked from the sun and turned my eyes to the sunless forest. It looked especially dark in contrast with building whiteness. Knobby tree roots slithered under the snow like fat snakes. Rotten leaves and comfurous needles froze in the ice. Ori, prickly branches, unwinded, bringing up uncomfortable thoughts about fences. Were they protecting the forest? Or were they keeping something from breaking out? Some object was hanging from one of the pointy benches. I tried to get closer, drowning in snow, and when I almost got to the edge of the forest, I saw a knitted mitten. It looked like a wounded bird among the hanging semi-dark. Should I take it to the police? Their senior officer looked gloomy, but he still reminded me of Captain Casanova from my favorite TV show called The Streets of Broken Lights. He was also always obnoxious, and with the tired look in his eyes, but still brave and strong. Will the mitten help them find the lost boy? Vova! I heard a distant shout, looked like it came from the river. Vova! As if the trees were calling out to someone. Vova resumed closer to me. Someone was standing there behind the trees, hiding. Vova. I knew someone was looking for the lost boy, but still, something was unsettling about the figure. Its stillness, how it was bent unnaturally toward the ground. Its blackness. There's no one there, just branches and roots. It's all just my imagination. A nearby bird flapped its wings loudly. Oh my god. A shadow split from the tree and disappeared from my sight. I looked away for just a moment, but when I turned my gaze back to the same place, it was gone. So it was my imagination after all. Silence reigned from a painful long time. Something's gonna jump at me. Yes? No? My muscles were tightly sprung, my heart was beating somewhere in my throat. Any noise, any little movement, any smell whispered from the thicket, and I'd sprint. But nothing of the sort happened. I looked at the mitten once more, mitten. I think he should take it. I decided to take the lonely mitten from the branch. Oh my god. Vova. I should have just run away. A shout rumbled across the field and dissolved into the distance. No echo, no hope for a reply. Please don't jump at me. I stepped towards the bristly trees and tried to claim my find. It didn't budge. I pulled hard at the bench cracked and the mitten tore off, landing in my hand with a squishy sound. All too heavy, wet. I squeezed it without thinking, and something dark filled from it, forming a tiny string between the mitten and the snow. Steam rose from the snow piled. Oh my god, that's blood. Isn't that blood? That's blood? I froze in place, studying my palms in disgust. Red. The sound of cracking benches invaded the silence. I didn't have to think twice before running away. Someone was chasing me from the darkness, breaking the pine benches, closing the distance with giant leaps. Snow was slowing me down. Crazy thoughts flew through my mind. Wait. This is better. I'll get caught. They'll get me. I'll get dragged into the thicket. I'll be gone forever. But there was one more voice, probably one of reasons. It gave me strength, spurred me on. You can do it. Don't stop. I heard an animal roar behind me. It was so loud my ears went numb. I felt like the sound had come from a pack of hungry beasts rather than a single one. Their nostrils sucked in freezing air. They sensed my fear. Two giant wings flapped above my head. An enormous shadow flew over the clearing. A hoot, a wheeze. The roars were coming from all directions now. From the dried up raspberry bush, from tweeted pines, from under the windfall. Hurry, run! Don't look back! It felt like I was inside a nightmare. The snowy cleared became vicious, like quicksand. I was stuck in place. I pulled my leg from a mushy trap just to be caught in a new one, even deeper than before. I continued to drown, sinking deeper and deeper with every desperate push. Was snow ever this sticky? No, it's not really sticky. I screamed in horror after realizing this wasn't snow. Someone or something in the snow pile was clutching my pants. I gathered all my strength and rushed forwards. The pressure on my leg was gone. My boot slipped off the hole and my soles were on hard force again. I reached the clear path with one jump and from there run to my house. Its gloomy face didn't look threatening now. The house was my line of defense from the shadows that flapped their wings and the creatures that were hiding under the snow. I tripped over the doorsteps and smashed into the door. In all my hurry, I still managed to notice the claw marks, as if a dog was striking the woods and its paws demanding to be let in so it could escape the cold. I hadn't noticed those marks when I was leaving. The heartbeat in my ears was much louder in my surroundings. I couldn't hear whether someone was following me or not. What if they were already in our front yard and Mom had locked the door? Drowning in fear, I pulled on the doorknob and it ambitiously gave away. Okay, he's back home. I rolled into the hallway and shut the door behind me. Porch planks cracked as my pursuers ascended the stairs. My fingers slipped off the lock and I couldn't click it once into place. I grinned my teeth and pulled harder on the iron knob, whipping it between the boards. I stared blank at the door. Someone was standing on the other side of the pitiful, flimsy barrier that was probably less useful than blankets. Whizzing breath reached into the house and crashed at me in waves. It smelled of pine and sweet. Mom peeked out of the kitchen and chastised with the same frigid voice she always used when talking to Dad. What exactly didn't you understand when I told you to never slam the door? I didn't mean to. I snagged a glance at the door. The smell was gone, and the breath was too. There was someone in the first place, of course. Here were here mere 5 meters away from Mom. My fear was slowly weakening and melting like snow in spring, and it was the last bit of strength I had left my body too. My legs gave away. I propped myself up against the wall so I wouldn't fall over. Mom's expression had changed immediately. The cold mask of strictness and detachment was gone. Mom looked the same as before, all those squirrels. She finally saw my condition, my wet pants plastered with snow. Where have you been? What did I tell you, huh? I told you to stay home. Am I nothing to you too? I got afraid she would cry. I reached out to her like when I was very little and wanted her to cuddle me. But Mom regained her composure fast and put on her usual face. Her eyes shined like steel. Her voice rang out. Your dad couldn't find his cigarettes. Be honest, did you snatch them? Were you smoking in secret? There were someone chasing me. I thought, I stuttered as soon as I started explaining myself. Tears welled up in my eyes. Mom leaned towards me and sniffed my clothes like a beast, searching for the smell of tobacco. Then she squinted her eyes in suspicion and looked into the front yard. Her expression changed in an instant, and she covered her mouth with her hand. Look over there, at the fence. My heart started thumping as if I became prey once again, and my pursuers were following me in the field. I could swear that I've heard something scratch at the door, just like in my nightmare. Mom backboned me with her finger, and I gathered all my remaining bravery to look into the kitchen window, facing my fear. I could barely discern some hairy silhouettes swimming in snow through the icy winter patterns on the glass. Dogs! Just a small pack of strays with no name and owner, barely reminding of the hungry monsters that live on the edge of the forest. Oh boy, were you scared of them? I think they'd rather be scared of you, Anton. They were chasing me like a bunny. And what if there's rabbit? They're rabid? The smile had slowly disappeared from Mum's face. Now she looked at the dogs as if it was her first time seeing them. What if they attack Olya? Mom, I wish your dad could just shoot them all. Mom, look, they're alive. Huh, what? Are they your friend or foe after all? Make up your mind. You're not a little kid anymore. Welp, some detective I am. In reality, I wasn't risking my life among monsters, but rather my pants among a pack of stupid strays. But he had blood on his hands. And he came home and she didn't see that? Or did he, clean it with the snow while he was chased? I don't get it. And what for? What use do I have for this? Mitten? Of course. A dark and sticky mitten that belonged to the lowest boy made a squishy sound in my hand. Seems like I was clutching it the whole time. There's my trump card as a detective. I hurried to present this clue to my mom. Oh my god, it's covered in blood. Mom, look, this is Vova's mitten. The boy, that boy, the police were asking about in the morning. It's drenched in blood. I found it hanging on a tree. I could show where. Let's call the police right away, like the officer had told us. Mom, look! Ew. A shadow of debate slowly crept on Mom's contoured face, as if she was trying to remember something distant, like someone trying to remember their dream. But the images slip away. Stop it this moment. Olya will go insane if she hears you. She already has trouble sleeping and whines all the time. And you joke around like this? He's not oh, he's joking around, yes. At that moment, I realized the mitten was actually wet from snow. There was no blood whatsoever. I wanted to sink through the floor from embarrassment. Come here, my boy, who cried Wolf. Oh, don't just stand there. Come take your pills. A golden-colored pill reminiscent of a dead wasp fell into my palm. I already took one during breakfast. Don't talk over me. I told you to stay home, and that would have given you a good whipping for that. Wait, does he have like mental problems or something? Come on, take it, or you won't be able to sleep at night, and you have school tomorrow. So I had to swallow the bitter medication, drinking it down with similarly awful water that gave off a taste of chloride. Maybe it wasn't Wova's mitten, just like the forest monsters. And Olya's wolf. Oh, wolf, really? Why would I read wolf if it's owl? Am I going mad? What's happening to me? Either the pill had an immediate effect or my over-exaggerated brain didn't let fear inside anymore. Serenity washed over me, bringing yawny indifference along with it. Anton, you done? See, you can do it when you try. Take off your coat. Are you asleep? No, Mom, I was just thinking. What about, I wonder? It's just something silly. Mom scrutinized with suspicious eyes, as if she wasn't sure she was looking at her own son and not some doppelganger that came from the forest. Is everything all right? You have the exact same expression when the police ask you about the window. I'm all right, Mom. She heaved a deep sigh. Fine. It seemed like the house had changed. The sofa's fabric had become discolored. Fingerprints appeared on the bathroom tiles. The light bulbs also felt different, dimmer and yellower. Even the saliva inside my mouth had a different taste. That's because of the medicine. You silly boy. Oh my god, what am I even saying? A melody from Aladdin could be heard from the upper floor. Olya was done rewatching her favorite Little Mermaid episodes and switched to other tapes. I slowly changed to my home clothes, stopped after the sink, and studied my reflection in the mirror, like I was trying to solve one of those spot the difference puzzles. Then I went upstairs. Jafar's and Lago's voice died down. I walked past Olya's bedroom and slipped into my own. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. The simple action drained the last bit of strength for me. I sat on the bed, and only then I noticed there was someone behind the curtains. Please don't be a jump scare. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to medicine I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the window sill and the curtains. That looks like a little girl. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets. Olya? Who else would be standing there? Yeah, it looks like a little girl. I stood up and licked my dried up lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached toward the curtains. Badoom, badoom beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to the bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtains, knowing full well they were looking back at me. Please don't scare me. Please. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha. I thought there's gonna be a screamer again. I knew it was you from the beginning. A blindingly bright halo lit up above Olia's head with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always returned, but Dad, she's not some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured on her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light within child. She's cute, yeah. She's like a really innocent child. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little. Before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just. Olya ran up the table, her eyes ran, and asked, You stole something and hid it there. Are you a thief? What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to my mind, that maiden hanging from the tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tiled figure standing behind black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. I swear that you won't tell anyone, and I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. I swear, one on Mom's heart, really? An oath she heard in one of the movies that the pioneers we've watched. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hand, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. Is this someone's mitten? She said that as if she couldn't understand what she saw. A curtain boy lost it and got lost himself. A certain boy, not a curtain boy. A curtain boy. What the hell is a curtain boy? Now you don't understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there. Will they find him? They will. The police are going house to house showing his photo to everybody. Olya traversed the room with care and pressured her tiny palms against the window palms. And why are they going to the houses and not the forest? Are they scared? The question caught me off guard. The police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest. Yeah, right? Flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that's the case, how did they miss the midden? Or did it appear later for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy by myself. A lot of stuff like the Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right? Olya wasn't listening to me. She was pierced to the forest with incredibly adult eyes, and character for her. What if the owl got him? Nonsense. An owl wouldn't be able to lift a human. But you know what? I was picking my words with utmost care. I forced them out of my over-exerted brain. Stay away from the forest. I think it's... How should I put it? It's cursed or something? Just like in a fairy tale? No, more like in the spooky tape our parents hide from us. Olya shivered and stole a glance at the window. I saw you running away. Someone was chasing you. No, it's just I was hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried. As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind and her smile fire would be gone. You're lucky. Mom wouldn't let me go outside. I'm like a princess in the tower. Couldn't go away anywhere. I'll die from boredom here. You're wrong. No one has ever died from boredom. You know, maybe there is someone who died from boredom. And you have me and your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon. And now, what I would wish for on my... You know what I would wish for on my next birthday? I'd wish for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go and play together like we used to. Yeah, and if you would make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box. Ollie giggled and tugged at my sleeve. Tasha, let's go watch Aladdin. Fatigue, what? Won over my desire to be with my little sister. I washed over by some sort of honeyous apathy. I'm too tired. I don't want to. Come on. It's so boring. Alone and Mom is always busy. We can pick a cartoon you haven't seen before. I know all of the tapes by heart at this point. Not all of them. You haven't watched Peter Pan. Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happened after that. Let's go. Maybe a bit later. Should I tell you how it ends? Let's leave that for tomorrow. I won't tell you tomorrow. I know, let's play hide and seek. No, Olya. Then draw me a dino. Olya, please. Draw it. Leave me alone already. I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my little sister like that. Ollie started at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a pressurous tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Ollie from crying. Alright, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit. I don't wanna. I came up to her, put my hands on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan. Boo, you'll fall asleep again. I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full triceratops later. Hooray! Triceratops. Triceratops, really? Well, close enough. Ollie rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajama, and shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread, and you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. Alright, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. I wanna bet I won't spill it. The tape is somewhere in the nightstand. Look for it. Ollie disappeared into the doorway, and I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. The old fashioned TV was gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurring image appeared for a moment. The dark taiga forest, just like one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did it catch some broad signal? Local TV stations only really show save-it cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently I used to always watch Robotech before school. Robotech. It was so awesome. Maybe I should thicken with the antenna. What if I catch the channel again? On the other hand, Ollie had asked me to find the tape. I wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. I shifted through the shelves full of dolls and blue hippos from Kinder Surprise. Oh, those little hippos! I remember them. They're so cute though. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while rewinding to the beginning. This rustle was lulling me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head. Me and Olia flying above the forest. Flying? Okay. Trembling in the soft clouds. My little sister is laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath was part bearing and bristling pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped among the trees. The wind are no longer able to hold us in Olia. You haven't started with that me, have you? My sister brought the tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. They're going through rough times. But rough times are lame. PM the screed, wondering was Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow in the dresser. Ollie was entertained by the cartoon dog Nana. Okay, I think we're gonna finish here because it's gonna be a really long video already. So we're gonna continue the video next time. This is a really good game. I really like it. I hope you enjoyed it too. And if you like it, please follow me to see more. And maybe comment down below if you have any questions. Bye, you guys.